Welcome everybody to the Australian Chamber of Commerce webinar titled Vocational Education and Training Industry Dialogue. My name is Aaron Fennell. I am co-chair of the AusCham Education and Training Committee here in Vietnam and moderator of this event. AusCham is hosting this event to help bring together a community of educators. Specifically, we have three aims for today. Firstly, to provide a platform for introductions that may lead to future institutional relationships. Secondly, to make people aware of the strengths of Australian vocational education. And thirdly, to make individuals aware of other opportunities that may exist for education either in Vietnam or in Australia. The AusCham Education and Training Committee covers all educational sectors, including secondary, vocational and tertiary learning, as well as non-formal education. It also includes companies geared to workplace learning. AusCham is a business chamber that connects people and brings extra value to companies. And in the same way today, each presentation is an introduction to a possible value add to connect you to further opportunities. We have 116 registrations today on Zoom and 30 more on GlueUp. This presentation is also broadcast live on Facebook. There are live translations. You'll find this in the button at the bottom of your screen next to the reactions bottom. You'll see an interpretation button and you can click on that into your preferred channel. Most of these presentations are in English, but one will be in Vietnamese that will be translated back the other way. So we will all have to change channels. I have a deep affinity for the presentations today. My own background in Australia included vocational training and then later working as a staff trainer through the training and assessment package. And while I've completed other degrees since then, I still think the tangible nature of skills gained in my vocational training was vital to my career development and professional journey. And now, looking back, having worked in multiple countries around the world as an expatriate, I've come to appreciate how special the Australian training framework really is. The consistency gained through such a robust and sequential Australian qualifications framework is really world-class and best in class. As a business chamber, I would like to mention that vocational training is workplace training, which is professional development to make our workforces better. Vietnam is a vibrant and exciting marketplace that's rapidly developing, and I hope that today educators can connect with a view to collaboration. Educational partnerships are win-win relationships for institutions and they improve economic productivity in the wider business landscape. A few housekeeping pointers. Firstly, again, interpretation is available online at the bottom of your screen. You'll see the button interpretation next to the reactions button. Secondly, there's a chat box that's open for questions and comments for presenters at any time. However, we will collate those and answer them only in the Q&A session at the end. In the Q&A session, we will have moderators from the Australian Embassy Education team. Jen and 𝐏𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐿 will be able to moderate that in both languages. We will finish this at 11:30, but based on feedback, we'll stay on channel for another 10 to 15 minutes past this time. The presentations will be shared via email link next week following this. I've asked the presenters to keep on time. If they're running over, we will ask for the next speaker and carry any content across to Q&A. With that in mind, I am pointing out the full lineup is available on the AusCham website, as are the presenter details. For now, without further ado, I would like to introduce Tim O'Callaghan, General Manager of Strategic Initiatives at the Victoria Chamber of Commerce and Industry, for his opening speech. Over to you, Tim.
Thanks, Aaron. Good morning or good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, joining us from Victoria and Vietnam. Thank you all for joining us here for this Vocational Education and Training Industry Dialogue. It is my pleasure to open the Vocational Educational and Training Industry Dialogue with you today. Vietnam is one of the most dynamic countries in the Southeast Asia region, and today is one of the fastest growing trade markets. While COVID-19 presented challenges, the long-term outlook for the Australia-Vietnam trade and business relationship remains extremely positive. As Vietnam's economy continues to grow, demand on the skills workforce will be high. As a result, it will also be high on the Vietnam business agenda as well. As a result, we believe business will seek out vocation, educational and training providers for solutions. Research done in Australia by the Skilling Australia Foundation prior to COVID found that median full-time income for a VET graduate is approximately $2,000 more than the median graduate salary for students completing a bachelor's degree. In addition, the research found that 78% of VET graduates are employed after training, and 82% of graduates who participated in VET as a part of an apprenticeship or traineeship are employed after training. In fact, at the time, the graduate employment rate of VE2 students who train as part of a trade apprenticeship is as high as 92%. Vocational education and training often provides students with a faster, more cost-effective pathway to complete a qualification and enter the workforce. Research also indicated that vocational educational graduates not only have higher starting wages than university graduates, but also find work more easily. This research might have come to life in Vietnam. If it hasn't as yet, it will be shortly, I'm sure. As you may be aware, Australia's vocational educational and training system is internationally recognised as one of the best in the world, most notably for its responsiveness to industry delivery. Victoria certainly leads the nation in the delivery of vocational and educational training. With more than 1,100 public and private vocational and education and training providers, Victoria delivers a wide range of courses from entry-level qualifications to high-level vocational training qualifications in more than 100 separate campuses across the state. There are significant growth opportunities for Victorian vocational education and training providers as key markets like Vietnam continue to upskill their workforces. That is why we would like to introduce to you some of the best Victorian VET training providers to you today, to showcase their capabilities and willingness to create new relationships with Vietnamese partners. I would encourage you to take advantage of today's opportunities to get to know these people and explore potential collaboration opportunities. I wish all organisations today, both from Victoria and Vietnam, every success on their future endeavours. And if you need us here at the Chamber, please contact 𝐒𝐫𝐲𝐬, our Manager, Global Consulting, who can assist. Finally, I would like to express my profound gratitude to our alliance partners in Vietnam in AusCham and Austrade, which have invested substantial time and resources to invite Vietnamese VET industry stakeholders to this event. This virtual dialogue would not be possible without your valuable support. I look forward to celebrating this success with you all. Have a great afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. And now I would like to introduce Rebecca Ball, Senior Trade Commissioner, Vietnam and Cambodia from Austrade, for a presentation. Rebecca Ball, over to you.
Thanks, Aaron, and Xin chào quý vị. So good to see so many important stakeholders from Vietnam on the screen today. Dr. Khan, great to see you, and AusCham. Really pleased for the Australian government, both with Austrade and my colleague Jen Barn from DESI to be involved with today's important discussion about the delivery of Australian vocational education and training to meet the needs of the skill demands in Vietnam, as well as to where we can work with the Vietnamese sector to build capacity in the sector of vocational education and training to meet such a high growth across the economy and across all sectors. Next slide, please. So it's a fundamental important relationship between Australia and Vietnam. We have the goal through our enhanced economic engagement strategy between our two leaders of our country to become one another's top 10 trading partners. We're getting there. Vietnam's number 12 at present, and Australia's number 10 as the supplying as partner to Vietnam. Education itself, Vietnam is currently our fourth largest source market for students in international education, and we want to maintain and grow that through working across government with a whole of government approach with our partners in country, across the embassy, with the Department of Education, Employment Science, as well as Austrade, CSIRO, and of course our ambassador and Consul General through DFAT and the DFAT teams, vital as we work across all the sectors. I'll just move to the next slide, as well as obviously our state government partners, and really pleased to be partnering with Victoria today, and I'm glad to see some other states on the line as well. So we could just jump to the next slide, that'd be great. Okay, so Vietnam in vocational education and training is significant. It makes up nearly 40% of the enrolments by sector, And while there's been a bit of a dip in the last year, largely due to COVID, we do see it a very strong bounce back and growth in the year ahead and the years to come. So we look forward to being able to work with the sector here through all the Vietnamese providers and the Australian suppliers to craft up courses that can attract the students, so they're focusing on employability. Next slide, please. So Australia, as we've already heard from Tim and Aaron, we have a very well established and dynamic vocational education and training sector and system, which is underpinned by very strong consistent standards for training providers, but very much anchored in engagement with industry and focusing on competency-based qualifications that are defined by industry for the industry needs to make industry more effective, efficient and competitive. We have many pathways through in the education sector that join up vocational education training, often with higher education as well. We also have vocational training within school system, which helps build the skills that can be applied in the vocational sense from a very early age and alongside the school curriculum. So that leads to a multiple delivery options, which are very flexible and adaptive, which is absolutely fundamental when you're talking about the needs of industry, to be able to respond to the skill needs of industry. Next slide, thank you. So Vietnam is one of ASEAN's largest and fastest growing labour markets. As we can see, oh, we've just jumped back a bit forward. One more, thank you. And we know through our work with the Chamber and the members in operations here in Vietnam, as well as other foreign firms who have directly invested their FDI in Vietnam, that they're looking for skilled employees, as well as the Vietnamese companies who are looking for highly skilled tradesmen and tradeswomen, as well as working across the value chain, particularly in the areas of IT and logistics, hospitality services and healthcare. We're also very cognizant that we have many partnership agreements and commitments that are looking to drive programs that build our broader relationship, which will also require highly skilled staff and a highly skilled labour force. Next slide, please. Thank you. So alongside our colleagues in DESI, and Jen will speak later on, who lead our engagement with this sector, and particularly with the Ministry of Education and with DVET on an institutional level and a frameworks level, we do a fair bit of work in building the understanding of Australians' capability around different sectors where we can see the greatest need. So this is just a snapshot of a few things we've done over the past few years around tourism, hospitality, with education technology service providers, in healthcare education and training, as well as this year we're doing a program alongside a big program in agri-food around building the skills through a competition, through a fun competition with baristas, but it's really about showcasing the skills that you can learn through an education in hospitality and tourism that can be applied in a growing segment, which is of course the hospitality trade now that we're back open again through the relaxation of restrictions and the great efforts of Vietnam in managing COVID. But we also have for the sector, and this is a really important search tool, which is being able to search for courses online to be able to match with the career that students are wanting to pursue, and that's through our Study Australia website, and extremely extremely well used, and all providers have courses which are either delivered online or a mixture of a hybrid learning through online and in person. So next slide. Thank you. But absolutely vital that we work together in partnership with industry on being, again, ever innovative and developing programs that can be built in a modular sense so that people can realise micro-credentials, short courses, and be able to add and build their qualifications in an ever-changing environment for the workforce. So that's a really important part of our work, alongside the work of our colleagues, Jen and the team at DESI, as well as industry, responding to the needs of industry. I look forward to hearing from the providers on some of their offerings in regards to micro-credentials, and then the different partnership models and how we can engage non-traditional partners in delivering online education, which is very much around the industry partners, the industry bodies, and also the technology partners are really vital, being able to provide a really good platform which is interactive and engaging for students as we continue to be challenged by a mix of online and face-to-face learning. So next slide. Thank you. So this is just our little team with Austrade in Vietnam. We've got a couple of colleagues in Hanoi with Ms. Hung and Ms. Hien, and then I'm based down here in Ho Chi Minh City with my colleague Ms. Trin. So please reach out to us anytime, and look forward to hearing the other presentations and learning more about the needs of Vietnam when it comes to vocational education and training, and how Australia can assist to meet those needs. So thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca Ball. That's Rebecca Ball, Senior Trade Commissioner, Vietnam and Cambodia from Austrade. Just a reminder, if you've just dialed in, there is interpretation available at the bottom of your screen. In Zoom, you'll see a tab next to reactions. You can click on that and dial into your preferred channel. Up next, we have presentations from two Victorian institutions. Firstly, there is John Q, Director International from Box Hill Institute, followed immediately by Jennie Dehn, General Manager of Global Engagement at Chisholm Institute. John, over to you.
Thank you. I will just sharing my screen. Just wondering, can everyone see it? Good, excellent. Thank you. So thank you again to everyone and welcome everyone. So I just thought to have a short presentation to go through it, and then we can see that what we may have throughout the information and throughout the presentation, and also we have the question time. I hope that I'm happy to answer any of the questions. So first of all, I would like to just share with you in terms of that we are going to take you, because of the pandemic, you cannot come to Melbourne. So I'll take you to our campus, excuse me, to have a view of how we look like.
Welcome to Box Hill Institute. At Box Hill Institute, we know that our flexible and industry-aligned education can be a life-changing experience. From short courses to micro-credentials and certificates to diploma, bachelor and postgraduate qualifications, including free TAFE, we connect you with the skills to thrive in the workplace, helping you discover and create new career opportunities. Get the practical education you need in our real and simulated work environments, including purpose-built facilities and active retail businesses. You'll gain hands-on experience dealing directly with customers in professional environments using the latest tools and technologies. Our blended learning courses will keep you studying, whether you're at home, on campus, or out on the job, through online classes, pre-recorded tutorials, and unique industry platforms. We provide essential and advanced skills for a wide range of industries, with all courses leading to jobs that are in demand across Victoria. With hundreds of courses to choose from, we are dedicated to providing an empowering student experience. We're here to help you achieve your full potential. Let your passion guide your future at Box Hill Institute.
Yes, so that's what the images shows, who we are and what we have. But of course, we have more than that. Just to highlight a little bit of the things that we have and the importance that I think that you might like to know. So one of the milestones we have by 2024 is that we will reach 100 years. That means that we actually established in 1924, and we are a government-owned institution, and we have both vocational education training as well as the adult education as well. So we are based in Melbourne. So we have 3 main campuses in CBD Melbourne, Box Hill, and also Lilydale, which is a eastern suburb in Melbourne. We have been delivering approximately 40,000 students nationally and internationally every year with more than 300 courses in both vocational education and higher education area and globally as well. And also just to show you a little bit of the major awards that we achieved over the last couple of years. Those awards, you can see that we have at national level, state level, and also internationally within the in the industry as well. The reason I'm showing that just to assure you that we are a good quality provider, and of course we are also international provider, and in certain areas that we have been well recognized, and also that we are focused on students as well. So student experience has always been our top priority, and that we make sure that students are heart of everything that we do at AusCham Institute. This is our current global presence, where we are with the 4 major activities that we have been doing, including our transnational education, which we call extended campuses, commercial projects, the inbound students who are studying in Australia, as well as a GENE program, which is a global education network that we have partnership in US, Canada, Singapore, and others as well. So that's where we are at the moment in the world, and certainly Vietnam is somewhere that we are, a particular market and the key strategic market we want to pursue further. So I just want to, because we are also to share with you that's the particular program that we have in Vietnam, and then to seeking for new opportunities that we do. So as some of the friends on the line, I'm sure that you know the KOTO, which is the Know One Teach One. So AusCham has been supporting KOTO program since 2002. And we have supported and trained more than 1,000 students over there, which they are now making great contributions globally. And we committed to provide further training to those youth in needs through the KOTO program. And we are more than happy to expand as well. And another program that we think is worth for you to know as well is that the Teachers Training Center. This is the first vocational education teacher training center in Vietnam. And we have full approval to run them now, and we are most welcome for any of you may be interested to have further discussion with us in terms of for the teachers training, particularly as a trainer or assessor or as advanced trainer or assessor. So that's an opportunity existing there, and we are most welcome for you to have further discussion with us as well. So those are 2 typical examples. One is focused on the course qualification we are delivering, and of course we committed to make the contribution to the local communities and the local society. And this is the training that we're providing from the teachers, and also we are providing training in the industry as well. Then the other thing that we, apart from those existing programs, we are open for opportunities in any of the short courses that we have. And for short courses, we actually have a particular center for the adult education, which we can customize the programs as you may like. And that center has been operating since 1974. And of course, we also have the other programs, government accredited programs at certificate level, diploma level, or degree level that are in the areas listed there, but not limited to. So I'm open for any of the discussions you may have, and I'm more than happy to, to have further discussion with you. In terms of possible business model, that's what, literally that we are focused on what you would like to. And our commitment is teamwork. And we want to work with you. We want to be together with you. And we want to grow together with you as well. So we committed that if the program there, we committed we are in this together, and we make great ideas happen, and we want to deliver outstanding experience for our students and our clients. That's really all, very much about the information that I would like you to know. But last but not least, I really want to highlight next year is the 50 years anniversary for our two countries' diplomatic relationship. So I hope that into the next year, we can have some new partnerships, some new program to celebrate. And I'm really looking forward to be connected with you and have a further discussion with you. So that's all about Box Hill Institute so far. I hope I've managed the time very well, Aaron, and I'll get back to you.
Thank you very much, John. A reminder for the audience here, you can put questions into the Q&A section, and then at the end of this webinar, we have Jen and 𝐏𝐫𝐤𝐿 from the Australian Embassy who will help to moderate those questions. That's from 11:15 to 11:30, but they will stay on channel for a little bit longer in case you have further questions to ask. So now I would like to introduce Jennie Dehn, General Manager, Global Engagement at Chisholm Institute. John, if you can please stop sharing.
Yep.
Wonderful. Thank you, Aaron, and welcome everyone. I'm just going to get my presentation operational. Hopefully everyone can see that okay. Fantastic. All right, so Sing Chow and welcome. My role with Chisholm oversees both our international students onshore as well as offshore activities, including our transnational partnerships. And I'm very pleased to say that I've been involved in vocational education in Vietnam for maybe 20 years now, so I'm really pleased to be presenting to all of you today. Okay, so Chisholm, like Box Hill Institute, is a government-owned education provider based in the southeast of Melbourne. There is approximately 14 TAFE institutes in Victoria, and so Chisholm and Box Hill are both very similar in many respects in terms of size and operation and delivery. So you might hear a few things in this presentation that are going to be very similar. So Chisholm is located in the southeast of Melbourne, and we have around 36,000 students each year enrolled in Chisholm. I just wanted to highlight, though, that 10% of those students are actually based offshore overseas, and they are undertaking programs with many of our partner colleges. We also deliver a range of 300 courses across 8 physical campuses in Australia, as well as an online offering internationally or in industry. So we're very much a multifaceted college with qualifications across a broad range of sectors. As shown here, we deliver everything from short courses or micro-credentials right through to undergraduate degrees. And I didn't think I'd have time to show a video today, so I thought I'd just throw through a few photos of our facilities in Melbourne. I also wanted to just highlight briefly that Chisholm Institute undertakes a lot of programs with industry partners in Australia, and here are just some of those partners that we work with. A lot of the time we're customising programs specific for industry or providing them with product that they can utilise on their own learning management systems. And Chisholm Institute's very fortunate. We have a dedicated online delivery college, which includes delivery of our mainstream courses in Certificate 3 or Certificate 4 or diploma programs, but also delivery of professional development courses for industry, which are self-paced and student-led. And some of those are featured here. And I understand these presentations will be available after our workshop today. So you'll be able to click through on some of those links and see what we currently have available. I also wanted to mention that Chisholm Institute has a professional educator college, which supports not only our teacher development at Chisholm, but many of the other TAFEs in Victoria and Australia as well. And we utilise the PEC for development of our third-party trainers employed by our partner colleges across the globe. So we have a really experienced team at Chisholm that not only works with the Australian teachers, but also customise what they provide to support our trainers across the globe. Okay, and now to talk a little bit about what we do globally. So it's fair to say there's probably nothing that we can't do in Victorian TAFE. We've been around a very long time and we've supported many companies, governments and industry in making their vocational skills requirements met. And as John from Box Hill indicated before, you know, the support is very vast. It goes from everything from short course delivery, online course delivery to individuals, right through to forming long-standing educational partnerships, delivering joint programs to students. We've also been involved in supporting government entities in redesigning their vocational education systems. Because as mentioned before, Australia is very well known for its vocational education system. And so we've got a lot to give to other countries. To give you a bit of a snapshot of what we're currently doing offshore and how we can also help support, I guess, other entities in Vietnam. We work currently in China, where we have 13 transnational partnerships, and we've been working with them since about 2004. And that program requires delivery both from our trainers as well as our partner trainers in delivering programs in accounting, in electrical power systems, in engineering, and also in health. I'll talk a little bit more about Vietnam in a moment. In Sri Lanka, we have a new partnership with a company called 𝐒𝐕𝐄𝐄𝐬𝐿, an educational provider. And we've just recently launched new programs where they're going to be delivering Australian qualifications on our behalf. And we also work in the Middle East, partnering with a college over there. Once again, they're delivering programs at Certificate 2 level on behalf of Chisholm Institute and undertake quite an extensive professional development program for their teachers as well. We're also in the Pacific Islands supporting the Australian government with Kiribati Institute of Technology, and that's through professional development of their teachers and also looking at their students' qualifications and what we call recognition of prior learning to obtain the Australian qualifications. So in Vietnam, many of you may be aware that Chisholm was involved in a pretty major project to assist the government in looking at their vocational education sector. We were involved in a project that commenced in 2014 and was involved to date significant teacher training in Australia, which was for over 330 Vietnamese vocational teachers. And that was delivered between 2014 and 2017. Alongside, we were developing about 12 qualification packages that aligned to the Vietnamese industry needs at the time. And then we undertook the management of a trial implementation of these packages in 25 vocational colleges across Vietnam. So, and I must say that I can see one of my good friends, Dr. Khan, on the panel as well. He was one of our greatest supporters in this program. So it's great to see you again. The project itself was completed in 2020. Fortunately, just before COVID hit, we were able to undertake 21 graduation programs, I think it was. And we had about 720 graduates, which is really quite an outstanding effort, I felt, because these programs were undertaken by students in a very different way of learning. So they had to learn not only how to undertake competency-based training and assessment, but they had to learn problem-solving skills, they had to learn presentation skills. It was a very different structure for them. And on top of it, we made them do it in dual language as well. So pretty amazing, outstanding effort to get 724 graduates through those 12 qualifications. So a wonderful effort by all involved, including Dr. Khan. So at the moment, Chisholm is now working directly with some of these colleges to continue to deliver these or similar qualification to support Vietnam's industry. It's been a bit slow going, obviously, with COVID. We haven't been able to get back out there to support and help, but we hope to be delivering once again from early next year, initially in engineering and hospitality. And we don't have enough time to go into any more greater detail about the program, but I'd certainly love to be able to talk to anyone further about it because I was very passionate about its delivery. We're also working in Vietnam with 𝐒𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐿, which is an organisation that supports both the disadvantaged and minority in Vietnam through education. So something that we're very passionate about. And so we're supporting 𝐒𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐿 in terms of meeting some of their strategic objectives around international recognition. And we also recently completed a program with �𝐲𝐿𝐵𝐈𝐺𝐬𝐿, which was a professional development teacher program in hospitality. So they've received a grant through Oz for Equality, an Australian government program, to support the development of over 300 minority women in northern Vietnam. And so we played a very small part in supporting that activity with 𝐿𝐲𝐿BIIHoc. So to give you some idea, that's the broad range of what we've been able to offer both in Vietnam and globally. And we certainly hope that we can do some more work with all of you in Vietnam. But if you do need any more information, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Cảm ơn.
Thank you very much. That was Jennie Dehn, General Manager, Global Engagement at Chisholm Institute. Coming up next, we have some speakers from the Vietnam vocational education and training industry to talk about opportunities and challenges. Firstly, I'd like to introduce Ms. Lan Huong Vu, Deputy Chief of Office, Directorate of Vocational Education and Training.
Thank you very much, Aaron, and good morning, my friends and my colleagues in Vietnam and also in Australia. So I think that I speak in English because I plans to speak in Vietnamese, but I think there are some very technical words. So I think that we are here. Most of the participants here can listen to English very well. So that's why I will present in English. So first of all, on behalf of the DVET, I would like to say thank you for organizing, thank you AusCham and the Australian Embassy in Vietnam to organize this very important dialogue. I say it's very important because in the context that we are, the DVET is in the process of promoting the collaborations between the Vietnamese institutions and the foreign institutions more strongly. And as you can see in the previous presentations from my counterpart in Australia, Australia is a very, I must say that Australia is a leading country in Tibet. And I'm more than happy to see here very famous technical and further education college, and we could have in short in Vietnam, like Chisholm, Box Hill, and other two schools. And I think that the Vietnamese college here, I was also very familiar with very famous TAFE here, especially Chisholm and Box Hill, who have had a very strong collaborations with our Vietnamese college in Vietnam so far. And this collaboration has bring back a lot of results recently. And from this workshop, this dialogue and similar dialogue, we, the DVET, hope that we can promote more strongly these collaborations in the future. So as far as you may know that the strategy in 2021, Vietnam has adopted and ratified the numerous of important legal documents and policy. And among those policy, the strategies for development of TVET for the period of 2021-2030 is one of the most important policies for TVET in particular. And in this, this strategy was adopted in the last day of December 2021. Luckily that we can finally adopted it in the right time, in the right context. And one of the key objective of the strategy is to develop a vocational education system in a more open, flexible, and efficient approach. And in order to do that, we have proposed 8 groups of measures. 8 groups of measures, and among those 8 group of measures, we have a very important, last but not least, the solution and the groups of solution and measure. Number 8 is the promoting the international cooperations with our counterpart in TVET. So because we don't have time to speak all about the strategies, and I think that after this dialogue, we will send you the English version of the strategies. And in that strategies, we also focus very much on providing the training for and to train the students in order to meet the demand of the labor market, not only in the Vietnamese labor market, but also to meet the demand of the international labor market. And we also, in that strategy, one of the activity that we will focus is to establish the vocational education institutions to the level equivalent to the regional and international level. And in the in one of the key activities in the coming time is to develop. We will develop 3 national high-quality training centers. And in the process of developing that master plan, the models of the TAFE in Australia is one of the models that we will learn from with a lot of experience. And I'm more than happy to see that in the presentation of the Box Hill, you mentioned about the very first project on Australia Vietnam Teachers Training Center of Excellence, 𝐕𝐤𝐴𝐕𝐄𝐲. And I think that is one of the activities that we will promote in the coming time, because you know that in order to establish such high quality training center, the key components and the key factors for the success of such high quality training center is the groups of the teachers and the trainers. So I think that in order to achieve the goals of the strategy, to the goals of promote the TVET system in Vietnam, and to promote the international collaborations, one of the key tasks is to promote the college level. I mean, to promote the college collaboration between the Vietnamese institution and the foreign institution. And TVET, as the state management agencies in Vietnam, will facilitate for that collaborations. You know that during the past time, and previous phases, our college in Vietnam has been very active in working with the international collaboration. But from policy view, we think that this collaboration is not so very active. Although we have a lot of result and achievement from this collaboration, but in the coming time, the debate will facilitate more these collaborations. And this dialogue, I think that the models of this dialogue will be more promoted in the coming time. So we have more dialogue directly between the Vietnamese institution and the counterparts in other countries. And I think that Australia is one of our key partners in promoting this collaboration. And especially we TVET have an idea, very new idea. I think that it is, we could say that it is an innovative idea to organize the TVET week. We call that the TVET week. And in that TVET week, we will have, we'll create the opportunity for the Vietnamese and the foreign colleagues in Tibet to work together and to exchange the views and to exchange the ways of working with each other in specific programs. So, and we plan to do very first Tibet week in October this year. And I would like to take this opportunity to invite our counterpart in Austria to join this event. And I think that information will be soon sent through the Australian Embassy here in Hanoi with my support from my colleagues here. And I think that to join this workshop, we have here more than representative from more than 60 colleges from Vietnam. And with the limitation of the time, we cannot have a chance to talk to each other so much. But I think that this is the very first dialogue, and we will have more dialogue in the future to promote such collaboration like this. So once again, I would like to say thank you for the organizers, and from the Dehn side, as the state management agency, we committed to work with Australian counterparts and to commit to create the more opportunity for our colleagues in Vietnam and the colleagues in the Australian and Victoria state to promote our collaborations. And I would also like to take this opportunity to thank you for the Australian Embassy here in Hanoi, the AusCham, and for our very fruitful collaboration so far from policy levels and from the college collaboration level so far. So thank you very much. And I think that my colleagues from different colleges in Vietnam will have more information to share with you after this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That's Ms. Lan 𝐿𝐭𝐤, Deputy Chief of Office, Directorate of Vocational Education and Training. And now I would like to introduce Dr. Khan, Rector of the Hanoi Vocational College of Higher Technology. Dr. Khan, over to you.
Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to take part in this dialogue. I think I can speak English, but Vietnamese better, because speaking Vietnamese, I can tell you more detail about Vietnamese information about the vocational system, about our school. Now, about the next slide, please. First of all, I want to interview about our school. Okay, I can let me talk in Vietnamese. Okay, sometimes I am missing Vietnamese and English. Okay. Trường tôi là tên là trường Cao đẳng nghề Công nghệ cao Hà Nội, là một trong những cái trường mà đào tạo chất lượng hàng đầu Việt Nam hiện nay, là trường của nhà nước, trường công lập trực thuộc Ủy ban nhân dân của Hà Nội. Hiện nay chúng tôi đã và đang đào tạo cho 32 nghề.
We have training programs ranging with 32 programs. We have over 170 staff, and our training scale is 5,000 students. So today I would like to share our experience and recommendations and proposal for collaboration. Okay, as you can see on the slide, we have been training, we have 6 faculties and the training programs equivalent to these: mechanical engineering, electrical, electronics, information technology, foreign languages, economics, and beauty care. We have achieved a number of awards that meet the requirements of international standards. And from certificates from New Zealand. So in our journey of management, we regard the school as a business. So we highlight quality management by process to enhance our state management. Because if we ensure quality management, we can have better and high quality output. And 100% of our students can find jobs upon graduation. So we in this picture, you can see that if you can solve the admission issue, and we have high quality training, then the output, which is jobs. So we have several commitments. 100% of our students are granted national vocational skills certificates, and will have a salary ranging from 5 million to 15 million dongs. So we ensure that students will choose the right school, will have sufficient professional competence, management capacity, and we also host many activities for students as well as high school students, so that they can have a better view on our school. So in our journey of training, we are very patient and persistent in our slogan. Each lesson is a job, each subject is a product. The vocational training objective will ensure that the teachers are good with theory and also good in practice. So here are several products from our students. We have joined a lot of competitions in engineering and business. To ensure that we act and we practice, we ensure that we have world-class facilities to meet the requirements of industrialization and modernization. Only when working with world-class facilities will students have good skills to meet the demand of international standards. So we will ensure that students will have access to world-class facilities, also to meet the requirements of Hanoi People's Committee. A special thing about our school is we will ensure teacher training programs. I believe that our school is the only school in Vietnam to host the teacher assessment test annually. Teachers should have a good command of English as well as expertise, so that they can design the tests for students, the national merit competition. So only when students get 70% of the score, and also the teachers can, the tests are so we have applied the smart school framework. We will apply innovative methods and slowly transform our program. We ensure enrollment is sufficient according to the structure of registered professions, especially when innovating enrollment and ensuring the quality of input. So in this picture, we could see that our school have been applying, we have been combining traditional teaching methods with e-learning and online teaching, especially in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. So with online learning, students can still adapt. So these are a few pictures in our training programs in computer technology. So we will regulate the activities of teachers and students via cameras, good quality camera. So this is quite meaningful to us. So to ensure quality of training programs, we have signed and collaborated with a lot of partners. So we aim to sending students to real businesses so that they can have hands-on experience. So we have collaborated with a Korean business so that students can have opportunities to travel to Korea to find jobs. Or we have collaborated with VNTT, where 70% of the staff come from HHT students, which are our school students. Next, we have collaborated with Hitachi, which would help us in the application of high technology and high-tech devices. They will support our technical, they will support us technically in building a high-quality training programs in the regarding digitalization and electromechanical. So we hope to work closely with partners in Vietnam and internationally. Chúng ta còn 5 phút. Chỉ còn 1 phút nữa là hết thời lượng trình bày của ông nên là. Vâng. Okay, so we will forge activities regarding science. We hope to create a ideal environment for students to work, to study, and learn, and socialize with each other. So in these pictures, we often host training competitions, and a lot of young students have achieved significant awards in academics and extracurricular activities, which contributed greatly to the growth of our program's quality. So far, our school have been involved in 3 transfer programs with partners in Australia. So in these transfer training programs, our school have successfully hosted training programs for students or graduates have been successful in finding jobs, and they all were rated good by businesses. We also have some hardships when first collaborating with international partner. The first barrier is language barrier. So when we deploy our training programs, English is one of the barriers that students face, and that makes it hard for students to communicate. So when in the future, when we collaborate with Australian partners, we hope to ensure that the language, the command of language of our students will be higher. Up to now, we haven't had any students who can come to work in Australia.
We're out of time now, so I'm going to have to thank you for your time, and we can carry over for you into the question and answer session if you'd like to elaborate further on some points. I apologize about that. For now, I'm going to have to introduce the next speaker, Dr. David Richardson, Executive Leadership in Higher Education at Bendigo TAFE and Kangan Institute.
Good afternoon, everyone. Xin Chao. Great to join everyone on this forum from all of our friends in Vietnam and, of course, everyone here in Australia at the moment. I'm joining you from a place called Bendigo, which is one of our campuses for Bendigo Kangan Institute. I just want to make sure I'm sharing this properly. Let me begin. Flicking through our first couple of slides here. So I'm representing Bendigo Kangan Institute, which is just another of one of Victoria's great TAFE colleges. And it's my pleasure to come and talk to you today about our offering. So Bendigo Kangan Institute, we're nearly 150 years old, and next year we celebrate our 150th anniversary up here at the Bendigo TAFE. We have approximately 1,450 staff. We've got 10 campuses. Half of them are in the Melbourne metropolitan region, and the other half are in regional Victoria, and I'm coming to you from Bendigo, one of those regional campuses. We also have 7 correctional facilities that we teach through as well. We have just over 20,000 students, 19 demonstrated pathways into university degrees, and we offer about 315 courses. I'm going to talk to you primarily about 3 areas that we excel in. The first one is the Automotive Centre of Excellence. This was an industry collaboration which began back in 2006, and then we expanded it in 2012. And at the moment, we've got stage 3 planning in place, which is designed around alternative fuels and hybrid powered vehicles. At the Centre of Excellence for automotive, we've got about 4,000 students annually. 25 are nationally accredited qualifications, and we have about 30 strong industry partners. And the Centre of Excellence model for automotive is replicated in India through our International Automotive Centre of Excellence. The purpose-built facility is state-of-the-art. It is regarded as the best automotive training facility in the country, and it has an energy efficient campus. It was constructed to reflect the Institute's commitment to promoting sustainable practices. The creation of ACE came on the back of a review into the TAFE education system and its links to the automotive industry. At the time, the perception of the industry was that it was starting to wane as automotive manufacturing in Victoria started to close. But in reality, the aftermarket sector in retail, servicing and repair employs 10 times more people than are involved in manufacturing. So it was this growing a critical sector for the future that Bendigo Kangan Institute staff began to work towards at a larger scale, specialised solution, and one that wouldn't replicate existing models with connection into industry and the driving force. The ground floor of the facility is a world-class vehicle and engine testing for motorcycles, light and heavy vehicles, and associated engine emission testing units. The first floor features more academic amenities such as training rooms. The second floor houses various mechanical workshops dedicated to auto, electrical, air conditioning, engines, transmission and fuels with adjacent learning spaces, and a state-of-the-art electrical lab with the latest simulation and diagnostic equipment and dedicated training to showcase the facilities for automotive trades and manufacturing. Stage 3, as I mentioned earlier, is a new 9-storey building, creating additional physical capacity and expanding offerings. The plan includes additional school-based programs and offerings to increase the annual pipeline of apprentices, and we continue to create more jobs and opportunities. Continuing to work closely with industry ensures that we're delivering programs to satisfy the changing industry needs and gives our students the best possible start in their careers. The next area of excellence I wanted to talk about today was our Health and Community Centre of Excellence, and this was developed to connect students to real employment outcomes and bring the best of industry and education together in one practice space. The centre was designed from the beginning to be used for networking, collaboration and advocacy opportunities for all health and community stakeholders in the Bendigo and Broadmeadows region. And our Centre of Excellence in Bendigo was built from the ground up through the direction and input from our industry advisory group. And it was modelled on the local hospitals so that we were training people directly on the same equipment and the same layout as the skills that were needed in the local industry. The third and final Centre of Excellence I wanted to highlight to you today was our Centre of Excellence for Food and Fibre. In Bendigo, we have a large footprint, which Bendigo is very much seen in regional Victoria to be part of Victoria's Food Bowl. And then we have a Centre of Excellence, which mirrors that down at the Broadmeadows campus. We've established partnerships with leading agricultural, food production, environmental management industry leaders. And we pretty much cover everything from paddock to plate. And we have a purpose-built workplace simulated training facilities that recreate employment environment, including a vet clinic, dog grooming salon, greenhouses and horticultural gardens. And we also have lab science facilities. So that's it from the Bendigo Kangan Institute today. Thank you for listening. I might just add, Bendigo Kangan Institute is very active in China, in India, Korea and Thailand, and we certainly would love to be adding Vietnam to our partnership portfolio, and look forward to the discussion later on and following up more conversations from the participants today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That was Dave Richardson from Kangan Institute. The final presenter for today will be James Stafford, Associate Director, International Projects and Partnerships at Holmesglen Institute. Over to you, James.
Thank you very much. A bit like my colleagues today, our experience is, I just need to turn off the interpretation. Our experience has been very similar we have very similar industry offerings to our other colleagues and international experience. And I think what you might have picked up today is that international capability is a huge feature of Victorian TAFE institutes compared to others in Australia. So today I'm just going to highlight some specialties and unique aspects of Holmesglen. So we're going backwards. Thank you. That's it. So I would say, for highlighting a few points, Australian industry leader in building and construction. This is a very huge part of what we offer. We've been working internationally for technical and trade programs in India, China, Mongolia, Indonesia, and Japan. We are home to the Victorian Tunnelling Centre, which is owned by Holmesglen, and we'll be giving you a bit of a look at that very exciting facility in a moment. We are a leader in renewable energy, and this includes installation, maintenance, and upgrades. And also I'll be highlighting our heating, ventilation, and air conditioning capability. Next slide, thank you. So a couple of slides. The next one, thank you. You can see the facility there, and then next slide, please. Thanks. So this is the area that we provide we provide the workforce to deliver Australia's infrastructure projects in rail, road, and utilities tunnels. So emergency services, civil construction, and we even have mining training available. And so we definitely are encouraging international training institutions, those in Vietnam, to talk to us about this unique facility, the only one in the Southern Hemisphere. On to the next slide, please. So the resources are massive, full replica mine tunnel, so we can drive 3 trucks abreast. A huge tunnel that is exactly the same as that being used by the metropolitan tunnels being built in huge infrastructure projects in Melbourne currently. Full-size tunnel boring machines and so on. So we also use simulators for safety, so that people can learn those to learn safely and away from the actual technology itself until they're ready, and also engineering workrooms. Okay, next please. So we'll talk about our renewable energies. Next please. So the point here is around the installation, maintenance and upgrading of renewable energy. So we have a commercial energy generation plant at Holmesglen that operates so that students can learn in domestic and commercial operations. So a key object of what we train in is safety. We want to make sure that everybody gets home at night. And so this is a very important part of what we do. Electric vehicle charging stations are becoming massive around the world, and this is one of the sort of key areas that we train in. Next slide, please. And next slide, thanks. So as I said before, number one in building and construction training. So this is something that we do all over the world. Light steel frame construction, which is very important, particularly in hot climates. Civil construction. If you're into the management and leadership training, this is something that we can provide. Safety, and particularly we can focus on particular skills, crane operations, working at heights and so on. So internationally, we do deliver mechanical and electrical training. Next slide, please. A little focus on our heating, ventilation and air conditioning. This is again becoming huge and for Vietnam, a very, very large growing industry. So we have a simulated environment in our Centre of Excellence that replicates heating, ventilation and systems that are used today in modern buildings. The students build their skills extremely quickly through this type of exposure. And these are things that we can replicate with you in training, should you be interested in speaking with us further about it. Next slide, please. If you have this is just a little bit of a look at our industry connections. You can see that we work with major players in Australia to make sure that that these very large infrastructure projects go ahead. Next one, please. We also operate very closely with contractors and suppliers to make sure that their specialised equipment is areas that our students are trained in. Next one, please. And again, here are the industry associations. You can see that we have a unique research centre, and two of our partners are Melbourne University and Monash University, which are Australia's leading universities. So we're very happy with our experience there. The last slide, please. Should you wish to contact me, please do. We encourage you to ask questions and find out more information. It's been a delight talking to you, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. James Stafford, Associate Director, International Projects and Partnerships of Holmesglen Institute. Folks, that ends or concludes our presentations. We're about to move into a Q&A session. We have two moderators for the Q&A session. However, before we do, I'd just like to highlight that we are looking at circulating the presentations via email after this webinar. And so if you're registered on the email list, you will be able to receive a link with the full details in the coming period. So for now, I would just like to point out that this session does conclude at 11:30. However, the moderators for the question and answer session have agreed to stay on an extra 10 or 15 minutes for further dialogue if needed. And so without further ado, I'd like to introduce those moderators. We have Jen Bayen and Ms. Tran Le Ha from the Education and Research team at the Australian Embassy in Vietnam. And so they have the ability to answer in both languages. I'm not sure how we'll go with the live interpretation as we go. What I think we'll do first is I'll just pose the questions that have already been asked in the Q&A chat. And then after that, if there's any other questions, we can just open the mic up or we can type it in. And so Jen and Leha, I'm not sure if you can read the Q&A chat, but the first question here is, what is the number of Australian vocational educators that have come and provided training in Vietnam, and who are they?
Yeah, thank you, Aaron, and good morning, good afternoon to everyone, both some very old friends and some new friends online. It's wonderful to see you all. Before I get stuck into the Q&A, and Aaron, we can see them, and I'm happy to sort of manage those from this end if you would like. We've got good visibility of them on the screen. But before I do, I just really wanted to acknowledge and thank Ms. Hung from DVET. DVET's been a wonderful partner to the Australian Embassy over a number of years, and we very much look forward to continuing that partnership. And to those Australian Victorian providers online, I'm super keen to hear your views about how you think we can best participate in the upcoming Skills Week. So please reach out to me separately to have a discussion about that, and we can support DVET. Thank you for that question around the number of Australian vocational educators that have come. We don't really have data or keep data on the number of folk that come in. It's not a requirement that people report that to the embassy, but I think what our 4 TAFE speakers have illustrated today is that there's deep engagement across Vietnam on a number of different platforms. There's certainly been deep engagement with the government of Vietnam and with DVET, deep engagement with vocational providers across Vietnam, but also some engagement in corporate social responsibility programs through 𝐏𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐿 and REACH and others. So I think if we look at the diversity of the relationship between Australia and Vietnam, it's very rich, but it's certainly got room to grow, particularly as DVET implements its 10-year TVET strategy. So we look forward to increasing that number over time. Aaron, are you comfortable if I just run the Q&A session? We might take a couple of these questions on notice. Yes. What I thought we might do, we've had a couple of questions both in the chat and also in the Q&A box on how you do this, how you partner together with each other. And one of the things I noticed at the end of Dr. Khan's presentation, he was about to speak to some recommendations about how to partner together. So I wonder if I could first and foremost, Dr. Khan, just throw to you for a minute or two, just to respond to that question from a Vietnamese perspective about how people might actually facilitate these partnerships and go to those recommendations.
Okay, thank you, Dehn. Tôi xin phép được có một số cái ý kiến để mà có thể kết nối giữa các cái trường của Việt
The
Nam.
collaboration between the institutes in Vietnam and the Australia, especially from Victoria State. So firstly, in order for the recruitment of the transferred programs by Chisholm to Vietnam, because we already successfully piloted them. So we have seen opportunities, and now we are looking for the timing to deploy them on a wider scale. So choosing the eligible entities in Vietnam to deploy these programs is the key point at the moment. And secondly, for a successful implementation, I think we shall diversify the forms of collaboration between Vietnamese and Australian schools, like organizing internship or student exchange programs, or 2+2 programs. So it would facilitate the students and bring them more opportunities to join the collaborative programs. And I think it's a very important point to attract the students to enroll in these courses. So how can we help them with a job who are maybe studying in Vietnam or in Australia to have a job immediately after their graduation? Because that's the final goal of any educational program. And that's also the purpose of our collaborative programs. It would be very attractive if we can help them on that. Another point of recommendation here is to help learners, because Vietnamese students who took part in the piloting programs in the high quality and higher education programs, we may consider helping them to higher levels, like master programs. So I hope that DOLISers and relevant authorities can support the vocational education training to help, like labor export programs, so that they can connect to the labor unions or schools in Australia or other countries to send Vietnamese students and laborers to the overseas directly, instead of going through the exporting company. So it would help schools to be more proactive in dealing with the career path for students. So I am representing Vietnamese schools to raise the voice here. I hope that with my sharings and with the population of Vietnam, fact that every year we have 1 million people reaching the working age. So last year we have got 1.3 million of unemployees. So with these opportunities, I think this is a very good opportunity for Vietnamese students. And I hope that after this dialogue, we shall have more opportunities for Vietnamese laborers and learners to join, to be trained in Australia.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Khan. It's very helpful insights on partnership from a Vietnamese perspective. Given that one of the themes of the Q&A and chat box has been, how do we do this? And I will note that we've had some questions in the chat about how people get more information about things like Skills Week. We've asked that particular question asker to share their contact details so we can make sure we include them. But we also at the Embassy run a media and policy update, and we'll certainly be including information about the DVET Skills Weeks in that as it develops. So we'll type some contact details in the chat box in a moment, so you can send us your contact details and we can follow up. But I wondered if we could also seek an Australian provider perspective around how you might facilitate these partnerships. And without I need to select someone, and the person I've had the most conversations with about this would be Jennie from Chisholm. So I wondered, Jennie, if you'd like to share to our Vietnamese audience how you might partner with all providers in Australia and how that might take place. Thank you.
Certainly, thank you for that, Jen. I would say that it's really important to sort of, firstly, for the Vietnamese colleges to identify exactly what it is that they would like to achieve from that partnership. So it could be that they're after professional development for their teachers. They may be looking to have delivery of internationally recognised qualifications, or it might be just, you know, in terms of a student engagement piece between the two colleges. And I think once that's been identified, then contacts like the Australian Embassy or Austrade are a very good forum to go to seek out other partners in Australia that might be interested in supporting that activity. To give you some idea, if colleges in Vietnam are looking to deliver Australian qualifications, for example, it is not an easy exercise. I will be honest, it takes a lot of effort to establish the facilities, to upskill the teachers in order to deliver those qualifications in line with the Australian government requirements. So I think it's important that colleges are aware that there is quite you know, a cost involved in undertaking that activity. So that's where the support, I guess, from government is so important. And the project that I was involved in was supported or funded through DVET. And it was, I guess, because of that it was possible. But the colleges that have already had that exposure to delivering Australian qualifications are now looking to undertake these programs by providing offers to students as a fee for service. So the students will pay in order to undertake that program. And I guess compared to travelling to Australia to undertake your training, that is a much more cost-effective approach. But it needs a lot of dedication from the college to continue to deliver that program and maintain the teachers and maintain the programs. So just circling back, I guess it's important. I'm more than happy. I'm sure most of the colleges here would be happy to have a talk to colleges about what it is that is required to deliver Australian qualifications, or if it is around a different partnership in teacher development, then we could work through some of those items with the colleges. But I would suggest Austrade is a really good start as well, to be able to reach out specifically with your needs. Thank you.
Thanks, Jenny, and thank you very much for illustrating the important role that Austrade plays in that partnership piece. And I know we have Austrade colleagues listening, and if they want to put their contact details in the chat, then please do. Otherwise, we can pass on contact details in that respect.
Yep, thanks, Jen. And just back online, Rebecca here from Austrade. More than happy to, as we do, work alongside Jen and the team and Jen and the providers. It is really important to have those assessment discussions of what you need and who can be best support that business development objectives of the college. So I'll just put my details in the chat box there. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I wonder if we had any comments or questions from the floor. Please feel free to raise your hand, and we're happy to answer your question. Can I see if people are raising hands? How do I see that? It should come at the top.
Yes.
Yeah. I can't see any raised hands at the moment, but I might ask, I know there's a couple of colleges who are attending today who might want to make a couple of comments. And I wondered if we had someone from 𝐕𝐢𝐜𝐿 Industrial College online who might want to make some comments. Do you want to say that in Vietnamese for me? I'll just get Lê Hà to say that in Vietnamese for me.
Xin lỗi là không biết có anh chị đại diện nào của trường Cao đẳng Công nghiệp Huế hiện đang dự online không ạ? Thì qua trao đổi với Tổng cục Giáo dục nghề nghiệp thì Đại sứ quán cũng được biết là trường Cao đẳng Công nghiệp Huế cũng rất quan tâm đến việc hợp tác với các trường của Úc. Và ở thời điểm hiện tại thì đây là một cái cơ hội rất tốt để chúng tôi được nghe ý kiến về sự quan tâm cũng như là ưu tiên của trường Cao đẳng Công nghiệp Huế đối với việc hợp tác với các trường của Úc ạ. Nếu mà hiện tại không có đại diện nào của trường Cao đẳng Công nghiệp Huế muốn chia sẻ thì chúng tôi xin mời trường Cao đẳng nghề Việt Nam Hàn Quốc trực thuộc thành phố Hà Nội ạ. Có đại diện nào từ trường Cao đẳng nghề Việt Nam Hàn Quốc hiện đang online không ạ?
It could be that everyone's quite overwhelmed going away and thinking about how they might form these partnerships together. We are just over time. Did you want to see if anyone else?
Trong danh sách thì vẫn còn có 2 trường nữa mà theo trao đổi với Tổng cục Giáo dục nghề nghiệp thì là cũng muốn có trao đổi với các trường của Úc ngày hôm nay, đấy là trường Cao đẳng Luật miền Bắc ạ. Có đại diện là từ trường Cao đẳng Luật miền Bắc muốn có trao đổi ý kiến hôm nay ạ.
Northern College of Law.
Yes.
Thank you. So we have Cho from Northern College of Law with her hand up. Please pop yourself off mute and feel free to join the conversation.
Châu Hoàng.
Xin mời bạn Châu Hoàng ạ, từ trường Cao đẳng Luật miền Bắc ạ. The question.
Yeah. While we wait for Cho to see if they can come offline from Northern College of Law, we do have a couple of other questions in the comment, particularly whether there'll be more opportunities throughout the year for more Australian vet colleges to be introduced. And the second part of that question from Tao Trin asks if a company or institute is able to identify a college or needs consultation to match in Victoria or Australia, who should they contact? And the right answer to that, of course, are our colleagues from Austrade. So Rebecca had put her details in the chat, I believe, and you're very welcome to reach out to Austrade and have a discussion about your needs, and Austrade can help support find an appropriate Australian partner. In terms of will there be more opportunities within the year for more vet colleges to be introduced, there certainly will be. We want to work with DVET to see what opportunities we can take advantage of during the planned DVET Skills Week. So we'll certainly be looking at that time. Now I can see we've got another hand up. We've got Not Fun with a hand up from the attendees. Not, can you see if you can get volume and ask a question or make a comment? I don't know if we're having some technical difficulties.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cho Huang. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Thank you, Cho. Welcome.
I'm sorry because of the technical problems. So I've not joined the panelists. So I can't say anything. So now, firstly, thank you very much for letting me to join this dialogue and to hear about very interesting presentations from different institutions in Australia. I've got just a question because many institutions saying about the programs that they are delivering, but my institution is law institution only. So I'm very interested and wondering about whether there is any institution in Australia who deliver practical legal training courses for undergraduates. So that's my question.
Would any of the college or the Australian vocational providers who are online like to answer that question? Just feel free to jump yourselves off mute and jump in.
Well, I think, Jen, if you don't mind, and
no,
colleagues over there, that I think it's really about, I think we need to know a little bit more detail and the specifics in the legal practices area. And we are more than happy to, have a further discussion on that with the specific area. As I said, industry training is something that Australian vocational education sectors are very specialized as well. So if we get more details, say, in the areas, and then we certainly be able to work out a solution. If we can't, if Box Hill Institute cannot provide the service, we will partner or we will find something for you as well. So, from Victoria's perspective, we are go as one. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Yeah. Thank you, John, and thank you, Cho, for the question. And we're happy to take your contact details and make some connections afterwards. I just wondered whether James or David wanted to make any other comments about the how-tos.
Yep, sure. That's great. Thank you. In terms of trying to deliver Australian national qualifications, as Jenny Dehn said, it is extremely difficult. There are so many compliance requirements that it makes it extremely challenging. We can bring in our own teachers, but that makes it quite expensive. Should we wish to train your teachers so that you can deliver them on our behalf as what we'd call a third-party arrangement, that can be done, but there is a lot of challenges around compliance for it. But the alternatives are many. So we can look at things like, for example, the Victorian TAFEs are all looking at a micro-credentials project at the moment. So we're delivering multiple, we're able to deliver lots and lots of trade type areas for small micro-credentials that can be delivered by any one of the institutes. So this is a possibility. There is locally accredited, institute accredited training that can be offered. There is also things such as the industry skills training that's run by the Australian Department of Education, which can also be delivered without a full accreditation. So there are options. So we shouldn't lock ourselves into thinking that we need to deliver the Australian qualifications specifically, and any one of the institutes here would be very happy to help you, any one of you, in talking about other options. Thank you.
Thank you, James. And I've just noted Dave from Bendigo Kangan is heading to another commitment. We appear to have technical difficulties with getting our Vietnamese college participants to speak. I wonder, Andy or AusCham, if you're able to unmute our attendees so they can speak. If you can, we're looking at having a speaker from... I'll let Lê do the Vietnamese.
Anh Công ở trường Cao đẳng nghề Việt Nam Hàn Quốc thuộc thành phố Hà Nội, anh Công đang sẵn sàng muốn phát biểu thì đề nghị bên kỹ thuật là mở mic cho anh Công trường Cao đẳng nghề Việt Nam Hàn Quốc thành phố Hà Nội để có thể có một số chia sẻ. Anh Công chưa? Yeah, he's here.
Yeah.
Anh Công ơi, xin mời anh ạ. Trường Cao đẳng nghề Việt Nam Hàn Quốc ạ.
We do understand there might be technical difficulties with having participants unmuted. Can I check if that's possible, tech team?
Yeah, we're just trying to find Knock.
So it's actually, can you give the speaker from Vietnam, Korea? Is it Van Công?
Yes. Yeah.
Can you tell the name?
Tên là gì? Văn Công Bùi ạ. Văn Công Bùi ạ. His name is Văn Công Bùi. Can you unmute him?
Okay. You should be able to talk right now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you very much. And given we've got 3 minutes to the end, I'll have to wrap up. Yeah. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm very happy to have a talking today. Yeah. My name is Kong from Vietnam, Korea, Vocational of Hanoi City. Just proud for 6 years ago, and we have the same like the training college, and I would like to join training program between Australia and Vietnam, and but because we are so new college, and we would like to have the supporting how to collect with the college in Australia and other institutions in Australia for vocational training, like teacher training or labor export program. And in this seminar, we would like to with you our contact. We hope in the near future we can have a good cooperation together. For this seminar, I just have a short message. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And actually, we haven't spoken much about teacher training and teacher training opportunities within this webinar, but that's certainly an area of strength for the Australian system and for many providers, not just the ones who are on screen today, but including them as well. And that's probably an interesting topic for some follow-up to this webinar in the future. Unfortunately, we've come to 15 minutes past our scheduled time, and I'm mindful of letting everyone go. I'll hand back to AusCham to close in a minute, but I'd just like to thank everyone for your questions and comments and participation today. It's clear to me that we need to have part 2, 3, 4 and 5 to this type of activity. So please do share contact details so that we can start thinking about what a next activity might look like in partnership with, of course, with our colleagues from Austrade. And before I hand back to Aaron, just a huge thank you again to DVET and to Dr. Khan and to all of the Vietnamese colleges online today. We look forward to continuing to work with you, particularly now we can in a post-COVID world. And a huge thank you to my team who's surrounding me here for their significant contribution to today's webinar. Thank you. Back to you, Aaron.
Thank you so much, Jen. That was the education and research team at the Australian Embassy in Vietnam doing the Q&A. So folks, that wraps up our virtual webinar on the vocational education and training industry dialogue. I would again, they have been thanked already, but I would just like to thank again Ms. Lan Hong Vu, Deputy Chief of Office, Directorate of Vocational Education and Training. Dr. Khan, thank you very much for your presentation. It was really wonderful to hear that there's 1 million students entering the workforce each year in Vietnam, which is really perfect for the vocational industry. And finally, I would like to thank the Victorian Chamber of Commerce and Industry for arranging the presenters from the various TAFEs across Victoria. Obviously, AusCham is a business chamber, but we are very interested in education. We have a strong education committee with annual events. We are gearing up towards an annual conference again this year in September, October. Please watch this space and reconnect. Just finally, as a reminder, we will send out the presentations via email to everybody who's registered for this event. So you can track back the details of each of these slides, including contact details. Folks, on behalf of AusCham and all the presenters today, thank you very much. Enjoy your day. Goodbye.